What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you come in and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on a recent episode of Jason Whitlock, with Jason Whitlock and his guests. I think one guy was Frank the Pope was one guy on there, and that's who I want to focus on his comments and Jason Whitlock comments. They basically are implying, well, Frank came right out and said that he don't think that Angel Reese is serious about basketball, right? And so what I want to do is I want to listen to their comments, and I want to give you some my perspective on what I think Angel Reese and not just Angel Reese, but other all athletes when they make decisions about like their career and their and their brand. Like what comes first, their career or their brand? And so with that being said, I'm gonna play some audio from Jason Whitlock's show, and then I'm gonna give some my opinion on what I think, the situation really is with Angel Reese and her brand and how important I think basketball is or may not be to Angel Reese.
Seen a player just disappear. Kawhi Leonard, they have excuses, they have explanations, they have reasons. This woman has disappeared. They're getting their brains beat out. It's clear as day. I don't think she's looking to get traded. I just think she's protecting her brand and doesn't want these L's on her resume because she's some sort of winner and she brought LSU a championship and all this. Now, when the going gets tough, and this is where Maurice, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let Frank go first, but I did love your point you made that I didn't elaborate on. But
let me stop it right there, right? I don't think that, in my opinion, I don't think that Angel Reese is trying to duck and protect her brand. I just think that she is trying to, she have other things going on, and this is a new day for especially for female basketball players because they have opportunities now to make money that they didn't have in the past, as far as like endorsements and things like that. So I think even though she's out injured, Angel Reese is doing, she is able to like pursue her other options. Recently, I just heard that she was at a back to school giveaway, like where they were giving out backpacks and school supplies and stuff like that. So her injury don't prevent her from, participating in those type of activities. And some people might think that it's not a good look. That's up to the individual. But Angel still chooses to participate in different things around the city of Chicago. But let me get back to some more of what Frank the Pope says about Angel Reese and how he thinks that she feels about basketball.
First year in the WNBA, she didn't finish the season. Oh, I got a wrist injury. Unrivaled, didn't finish the season. And now another disappearance here in the WNBA. I just don't understand how this isn't being talked about. It looks like one of the so-called biggest stars in the WNBA has quit or pulled a Kawhi Leonard. Frank, you fire first. Maurice, you carry us home.
I mean, I've been calling out this stuff about Angel Reese. That's why I get on her so tough. For the longest, man, that she not for real about playing the game of basketball. She don't love the sport of basketball. She loves what the sport of basketball can do for her. And we not surprised, I know, right? Like Marie said, she skipped out of Unrivaled. She skipped out of last year. She didn't even come to the playoff games and the championship game just the same way. So I'm not surprised. She skipped out on her team. It went to the Met Gala this year when she had practice and a game the next day. So she's been telling us out loud, very loudly, I'm more about my celebrity status in this game of basketball in the WNBA.
All right. Now that watching and seeing how Angel Reese move, it's apparent that she, like maybe basketball is not her number one priority. But then my take on the situation is when you think about it, that's not new to sports. I remember when the USFL Football League was starting out, and you had a lot of athletes who went from college. Let me see, you had Steve Young, Herschel Walker, like those guys, they turned down the NFL to go to the USFL, right? And so my point is, it's about the money. Like people will go where the money takes them. And for Angel Reese, she have opportunities, like I said, to make money and doing different things with her brand, more money than she's making in the WNBA. So the WNBA is paying her $78,000 a year to play basketball. But then she has $1 million endorsements or six-figure endorsements. So of course, like that's where her loyalty is going to lie at. If she was, as a fan, we wish that every athlete was like Tom Brady and Michael Jordan. Like they put everything into their sport and they sacrifice a lot of other things, a lot of different off-field things, just so they can be the best that they can be in the sport. Like Tom Brady, like I said, Michael Jordan. Athletes used to be like that. But if Angel Reese missed her window of opportunity to make money and set herself up with what some people might say, like with generational type money, then she may not get the opportunity to make that money in the long run. You like I said, you're talking about $78,000 a year versus, like six-figure deals, seven-figure deals in some instances. I know she does stuff for like different like clothing brands, Reebok. So that's where her loyalty, that's where her focus is going to be, because she had the opportunity to make money. Recently, what came forward? Donna Taurasi was doing a documentary about her life, and in the trailer for the documentary, she spoke about how she had to go overseas. She had to go to Russia and play basketball, and she missed a lot of time that she could have spent with her mother and her family. And she said when she looked up, her mother had gotten older, and so I think that those type of situations where you have to go and that type of sacrifice is just hard. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, and athletes in today's WNBA have more opportunities to stay home, nurture their brands, and make money. And that window of opportunity is not going to always be open for them. Same thing, the same situation with the young lady. She played for the Sparks for a little while. Liz Cambridge, right? She left the WNBA so she could pursue a modeling career. And not that I would suggest, and some people say she might be doing only OF2, right? But people are going to go where the money take them at, and that's not just women athletes, that's men too. You see, we speak about like Paul George when he was doing his podcast, and fans they were upset because we want our athletes, we want them to put everything they have into basketball or whatever sport they playing, during the off season. That's when we want to see you, we want to see your commercials. We want to see you endorsing different things. We want to see you at different celebrity events and stuff like that during the off season. But during the season, LeBron too. LeBron got a podcast, and that's just like, we're not used to seeing these athletes do that. We're used to athletes who leave it all on the field. When back in the day, we spoke about on my podcast how football players had jobs during the off season, car sales, insurance sales, construction. Some of them even did construction. This is like back in the early days. So when the money got good in the NFL, then they were able to put all their efforts into their prospective sport and the fans benefited too because we got a better product. So I think this right here, what Angel Reese is doing, is in my opinion, this is nothing that we've never seen. You know, players, like I said, they're going to go where the money's at. You know, I wouldn't say, for instance, if Angel Reese had a 10-year career and all she did was focus on basketball, you know, and that basketball is paying her $78,000 a year, and then she probably went up to, you know, she might max out at a couple $100,000 a year. That she will be leaving millions and millions of dollars on the table. Now, they're negotiating for more money, but I think even if they do get more money, today's athlete, they're going to do everything they can to make as much money as they can on the court and off the court because they don't want to leave the money on the table. I don't, I don't know what we can do about it as fans. Like I said, I think that's what a lot of people do appreciate that about, like, somebody like Caitlin Clark. Like, she's the kind of player who's a gym rat, and fans like that. You know, fans like a gym rat. They want somebody who they know, like, on and off the court, like, they eat, sleep, and drink basketball, you know, or whatever their sport is. We like that because that we know we're getting somebody who is all in, somebody who's passionate about the sport. And it's good for the fans. Fortunate, you know, and another thing that for Caitlin Clark, you know, her endorsement deals are so big that, you know, she don't have to go overseas like Diana Taurasi and miss time with her you know, with her family. Same thing for Angel Reese. She don't have to go overseas and play in Russia and miss time with her family and risk getting caught on an airplane with some weed, and, you know, had to spend some time in one of those Russian prisons, right? So she don't have to put herself in that position. So as a fan, you know, I'm you know, Frank the Pope. You know, I'm with Frank the Pope. I would love to see an athlete, you know, leave everything on the court. You know, be all about eat, sleep, and drink bad. But that's selfish. That's a selfish fan in us that we want to see these people, these athletes do that. And you know, they're thinking about after the sport, and you really can't blame them. You know, owners don't do it. Owners, you know, they look at the bottom line and they try to maximize their profits. And so when players do it, you know, we can't turn a side eye, look at them crazy when they do it. So that's my take on it. There are some athletes in the WNBA who do operate like that, like they put basketball first, and then we get to see their best. Not that we're not seeing Angel Reese best, but it may not look like sometimes they're giving us their best when they like being pulled in so many different directions, right? And I think these athletes today have to do a better job of managing their public image, so fans won't think that, well, you cheating the sport. You're not putting everything you have, into the sport. When really, to be honest, not even Michael Jordan did it. Michael Jordan used to like to go to casinos. Charles Barkley, the same way, went to casinos. They hung out, they drank, they smoked cigars and stuff like that. But this stuff was it wasn't as out there because of, social media and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. It's just a new era. It's just new. As fans, we got to get used to it. Seeing these players do different things besides what their sport is, and hopefully, we will get the product on the court that that we want. But that's my take on it. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. Like, do you think, in your opinion, let me know, do you think that are basketball players distracted? Do they put is it a bad thing for basketball players or any athlete to put their brand before their sport? Do it hurt the sport when athletes put their brand before the sport? And so, like I said, like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next episode. Peace.